Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you've ever been sore after a long day of spring gardening, our next guest is here to help, here to share simple exercises that will help you garden with ease. We welcome back our health and fitness expert, Beth Oliver. Great to see you again,
Good
Beth.
morning, Helen.
This is a good idea because usually you're in different positions than you normally are when you're out gardening.
That's right. And so many people will be so excited to get out and especially when the sun first comes out in the spring here.
Sure.
And then the next day they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I got run over by a truck. And so what's interesting about it is we often don't think of gardening in terms of how we would think about preparing for other types of exercise or physical activity.
Like playing a game,
like,
playing pickleball or whatever.
Or any of that stuff, right? But really the same things hold true. You need the same three things: strength, mobility, and balance. So those are the three things that we really want to wrap in. So one of the most important things we do is, like your mom and dad always told you, lift with your legs, but you don't have any idea what that means.
Sure.
So just imagine that you've got your bags of soil and things like that, even heavy plants that you want to pick up and move around. So very often what we do is just sort of drop our head over, lift our rear end up, and try to lift up this way, and that really hurts your back. So what we want to do instead is just set our feet open wide. It doesn't have to be dainty. That's the thing I want people to know. It doesn't have to be dainty. We want to bend our ankle, knee, and hip, almost like you're sitting your butt back into a chair. And you pick up your bucket or you pick up your bag of sand and straighten your legs. So the action comes from your legs.
You gave me the heavy one.
I know, Helen. Good girl.
Just kidding.
And then the same thing on the way down. And it really helps to think of lifting your breastbone up and keeping your eye gaze slightly forward. Right. So one of the funny things is, as soon as you look down at what you're lifting, your body rounds over and the stress is in the back. So I'm just going to show our viewers from the side.
And it's definitely, you're using your thighs.
You're strengthening your legs and you're creating mobility in the ankle, knee, and hip. And interestingly enough, in this position, you're also strengthening the muscles that support the spine. So it's good for posture all the way around. So that's what we really want, that long, straight spine. This is a great strengthener. And the thing is, if you're just getting sort of used to these kind of activities, just practice that with a bucket, no weight in it. But if you actually are just trying to get a little more oomph, you can throw a couple of bags of rice or books in there and make it a little heavier.
Well, you're right, because the bags of soil, they're pretty heavy.
They're heavy. And in fact, like I was at a garden shop the other day, and I was picking up quite a few to take home, and the nice young guy said to me, well, you know, you'd get a little bit of better price if you if you take the bigger ones. And I'm like, yeah, but I actually can't handle those, so I'm going to take the smaller ones because I can lift and put those down without hurting myself. So you want to think about those sorts of things.
Okay, good point, good point.
So along with strength, Helen, we also need mobility. So now we are going to bend the spine. And this time we tuck our chin to the chest and then we roll down. Notice that my legs aren't straight, so I'm not trying to necessarily touch my toes with straight leg, but I'm trying to articulate through my spine. So once we get strong, we also want to stay supple. So we're going to roll down. And then we roll up. And then we want to reach up and around to a high diagonal.
This is stretching before you start gardening.
Yes, right. And then we roll down. And we roll up. And I want people to know that this should be strain-free. So it's okay to feel the sensation of stretching, but if it feels like you're tightening, then I want you to open your feet wider or bend your knees more. So strain-free is the key.
And then going down, kind of like
one vertebra at a time, like a little rag doll, exactly. And then you roll up, and then you rotate. Beautiful.
There we go.
So the third element we need is balance, which we often wouldn't think about, but balance is also sort of your brain's ability to know where your body is in space. So for example, when you're reaching up to clip something and you're not quite sure where you are, tends to kind of make your equilibrium go off. So all I want you to do is put your feet together, bend your knees and kind of sit back, and then just reach across. And then and this is like any old which way.
Oh, show that again.
So I'm just going to reach across.
How did your knees do that?
I see. Yeah, that's exactly it. And again, it doesn't have to be any particular way, but we want to get our bodies used to moving in unusual, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And if that's easy breezy, you put your feet one in front of another to challenge your balance a little bit more. And again, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're just getting yourself stable as your body moves around. Mm-hmm.
There is kind of a balance issue, right?
There is, right?
Yeah.
So just imagine you're reaching up to prune something and you're shift onto one foot. You have to be able to figure out where you are in space.
And you know, when you bring up the balance issue, because I know people do get injured gardening. It's
do.
amazing
They
how
do,
often that happens. Yeah.
And the last thing, don't forget about your hands. So squeeze and then make a starfish. You've got lots of little muscles in your hands, so don't be surprised when they get tired when you're using your pruning shears.
Oh, sure.
So squeeze, release, and even a little stretch.
Yeah. Should we do these stretches before we garden or after we garden?
I would say before.
Before.
Mm-hmm. Get your body prepared for the work that it's going to do.
Yeah. And be careful when you're pulling out bulbs, because I know that can be a problem too, right?
Exactly.
Fall back.
So it's the same idea if you can reach down with your legs this way instead of bending over to pull up.
Right.
And then remember, Helen, a little trick. If you've got your bucket here and you want to get a little closer to the ground, you can always just sit down and then you don't have as far
to go. And now
to go.
they have those cute little chairs that you can roll and have the place to put your clippers and all your tools and all that stuff.
Yep. So use those things to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to put that information on our website at KHU.com. Beth, always great to see you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.